What we really learn in this project is the border between technology and the real world. Your choice of color can have a profound impact on people. If you design a trash can for the desktop and make it green, you're insulting Islam. Or if you take Hindi pages, for example, they're brightly colored.
But I think we must be pretty much on the safe side with gray. I think it's pretty neutral.
Yes, neutral colors are important, but bear in mind that gray can imply a poor sense of imagination.
Nazir Peroz is a man on a mission. He wants to lead his native Afghanistan into the digital age. Our view of Afghanistan is dominated by war and terrorism. Can there be a future for this ravaged country? Does it really have a chance?
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign has been switched off.
4 times a year, Nazir Peroz travels across his homeland, and he always takes a clear message with him.
Afghanistan needs 3 things: education, education, education. Without it, Afghanistan doesn't stand a chance.
Peroz is picked up at the airport by government officials. The driver curses the traffic. In a few days, some 3,000 delegates will gather for the Loya Jirga, or Grand Council. Top of the agenda is an agreement over whether the US should extend its troop presence beyond 2014. A plume of smoke hangs over Kabul. Once again, there's been a suicide attack. 10 people were killed and many wounded.
Hello, my good friend Akmal. How are you? What do you think? Should we drop by the IT center now? Or should we put it off until tomorrow?
Hello? Das Netz geht kaputt.
No connection.
Diejenigen, die sich in die Luft jagen, die wissen überhaupt nicht, was sie tun.
Those people who blow themselves up don't even know what they're doing. They're under the control of certain people of certain ideologies. But all ideologies respect universities and science. Afghanistan is no different.
Peroz has a simple credo. If you offer younger generations some prospects, those ideologies won't get a foothold. Peroz is well known here. He says the guest house run by the German Academic Exchange Service, the DAAD, has almost become a second home to him.
Sadly, I have no family left in Afghanistan. During the war, they all fled to the US, Canada, Holland, and Germany.
The guest house is on what's known as the White List, which means it's considered one of the safest buildings in the city. Every day, Peroz gets to work on his vision at 7 a.m.
Afghanistan is kind of half-built. The road is not sealed, but it's used to transport modern technologies from the West. Things like fiber optic cables, PCs, cell phones, the internet. This change has hit the country like an avalanche. If a person has worked for 60 years in an old-fashioned archive, we can't suddenly expect him to be able to use modern technology. So we have to train young people, young generations, so that they'll be able to step into the older people's shoes later. And then Afghanistan will modernize itself automatically.
Just a short walk away from the guest house is the campus of Kabul University. Peroz left for Germany to study computer science in 1977.
When I left Afghanistan, it was a beautiful modern country. When I came back in 2002, it was in ruins. 90% of the university campus was destroyed. These are all modern buildings you see here now.
Peroz has an appointment with the president of the university. But the president's assistant has bad news.
I saw a mine-clearing squad on the campus. They damaged some of the university's fibre optic cables. I think we still have some anti-personnel mines on campus. The mine clearers should have known about the cables.
If we had been shown a map beforehand, we could have told the mine clearers where the cables are, so they could be careful.
We need more money. We have sponsors who pay for our power, but nobody to pay for the upkeep of our internet connections.
NATO provides the internet for the entire country. It's called the ZiiK Afghanistan project, a virtual Silk Road.
What we see here is the computer center at Kabul University. We opened it in 2003. At first, we didn't even have electricity, and there were no windows. We did everything up in the space of 4 weeks. I wanted a prominent and visible project because in the 23 years of war in Afghanistan, computers and the internet were forbidden. While we were enjoying rapid development in the European community, Afghanistan was being plunged into darkness.
When the Taliban regime was ousted in 2001, there were scarcely 2,000 students left in Kabul. Now there are more than 23,000, and a third of them are women. Encouraging numbers. Nazir Peroz rarely has time for private indulgences, but this is one, a trip to his old school. Here, on the grounds of what's now Ghazi High School, was the school he attended. All that's left of the old building are pillars.
I finished school here in 73, 74.
My father was here in 1973 too. Maybe you know him. What's your name?
Nazir Peroz. I have my teachers to thank for the fact that I made it so far. My school certificate opened doors for me in Germany. You may laugh, but it's really true.
Maybe today the school can open doors in the US, which financed the building.
You could all become professors, doctors, engineers.
I try a lot in my lesson, in my everything, that to be a good person in my future, to serve to our country Afghanistan, because our country Afghanistan is very poor. Everybody must try a lot, because of that they are the future maker of this country.
Those words are music to Peroz's ears. There's a transformation in evidence everywhere, although the football pitch hasn't changed.
It's in my nature to think positively, and I try to encourage people and give them a helpful push. I live for the future, not for the past.
The past and the future can be very close to each other here. Kabul's history is one of destruction and reconstruction, and it has been for more than 2,500 years. The city is now growing by the day. It's currently estimated to be home to 5 million people. Nazir Peroz receives a visit from Roya Mahboub. She was once one of his students. Today, at the age of just 26, she's one of the country's most successful IT entrepreneurs. Despite threats and many other obstacles, she's steadfastly stuck to her plans. She sees the internet as a huge opportunity, especially for women.
The things that we are working right now is to empower women and provide education tools for the students through social media and internet connection. So with the full respect of the family traditions. So the female can work at the home. So when anything happens, still the woman can work and they can get their financial freedom, and as well they can get their confidence and their rights through social media.
And she has other plans to discuss with Peroz.
Would it be possible to set up a women's TV station? Do you think we should try our contacts or draw up a concept first?
It's important to draw up the concept first.
We have lots of channels here, but they all just broadcast Turkish or Indian soap operas. They broadcast songs sung by half-naked women, and a lot of people are against that. We could find a middle way, without overdoing things.
Many conservatives, first and foremost the Taliban, are against having women on television. Women are banned from showing naked skin.
But if we produce shows abroad and use traditional but contemporary clothing, there should not be a problem.
In 2013, Time magazine named Roya Mahboub one of the world's 100 most influential people.
Before September 11th, women were not allowed to be seen in public without a man to escort them. Today we have women in parliament, in the university. It's been a rapid development.
Our next destination is Mazar-e-Sharif. Peroz often quotes Kennedy's famous line, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country," when he talks about his own mission. Mazar-e-Sharif in the province of Balkh. The airport was built by Germany. It's the logistical hub of northern Afghanistan. There's a welcoming committee from the University of Balkh already waiting for Peroz.
For your information, we've picked 3 talented young men who won a competition for the further development of the computer science study program.
The German government provides €430 million annually to fund civilian reconstruction projects in Afghanistan, on top of the voluntary work carried out by people like Peroz.
Everything I do is unpaid. I get my salary from the university in Berlin, and I'm not dependent on any organization. If everybody just sat at home saying the world's got to change, the world would never change.
Peroz believes only a fully networked world will be a peaceful world, one that includes his native Afghanistan. Over a cup of tea, the president of Balkh University tells us that 40% of its 13,000 students are women. You couldn't tell that from the company here. Peroz has brought a gift for the president with him, a book documenting the development of the Faculty of Computer Science. Once again, Peroz is ensuring his projects remain visible. He wants people to be able to see the progress they've made together.
Balkh had no proper roads and no proper buildings, and the province became a battlefield for the Taliban. They killed and threatened people on the roads. The whole province was suppressed. The situation throughout Afghanistan was critical. It was a disaster. Since the collapse of the Taliban regime, the country has developed quite well.
Peroz avoids markets and busy streets. He says it would do no one any good if something happened to him. Who would complete his project? But he's willing to make one exception. He wants to visit the Blue Mosque, the center and symbol of Mazar-e-Sharif.
Culture is like the air we breathe, and you can breathe it here. Whenever I have time, I like to visit the Blue Mosque. Natural sciences are all very well, but they're not enough. You need culture too. That's what makes human beings complete.
But Peroz doesn't like to talk about religion. That, he says, is a private matter. This splendid 15th century building is Afghanistan's most important place of pilgrimage. The Prophet Muhammad's son-in-law is believed to be buried here. The place is known for its white doves.
You won't find a single black dove here. I don't know why, and I don't want to know why.
The doves fly out of here at 3 o'clock in the morning to the surrounding houses. They spend the day here eating, and they spend their nights in the luxury houses around us.
They really move into these houses in the winter.
Sure they do.
Peroz spends most of his evenings in the hotel. He gets a lot of invitations, but seldom accepts them. But this evening, he's going to see the father of a former master's student. Syed Husseini and his family stood together through Afghanistan's darkest years under the Taliban.
I am so grateful that you turned our young men into human beings.
Now his son lectures at Balkh University. He represents a new generation of people who don't mince their words.
Employment, security and corruption, that would be the three most problems that every young would currently have on their minds. If you look deeper, then the corruption among the governments is currently growing. Some parts that these funds that are available, funds that would be otherwise used for infrastructure, they are not used where it should be. And then the funds are embezzled, or the money that's available is somehow embezzled, or they are misusing their positions, the government officials. On top levels, the corruption is something accepted. I've dreamed that the families that are living in Afghanistan, they will have food on their table and where they can really enjoy their life instead of having to think about war. I think in long term we will reach that goal.
The young man we saw last night is barely recognizable in his Western attire. Jahed is going to drive Peroz to the new campus.
Has there ever been a day when the IT center in Balkh was packed?
At the start of the last semester, we were there every day, whenever we had a regular power supply, especially for the practical courses.
The country's been changing since 2002. It's hard to say what direction it's developing, but it's developing.
This is the site of the new campus of Mazar-e-Sharif University. The Faculty of Engineering was inaugurated in the spring of 2013, paid for by Pakistan. The Faculty of Computer Science has also found a site. The faculty has been steadily expanding since 2010. It now boasts 250 IT students, of whom 40% are women. Peroz wants to encourage them to score the highest possible marks when they complete their bachelor's exams. The best will be rewarded with a DAAD scholarship at Berlin's Technical University. As if that weren't incentive enough, a steady job is almost guaranteed afterwards. Asked about Facebook, the girls are reluctant to raise their hands, but they're probably all members. Boys and girls still use different doors and different corridors. They're rarely seen together. That's something Nawid Rahmani wants to change. This brightly coloured wall is part of a project designed to expand the students' horizons. One of the building blocks is establishing an identity.
We are working on this issue. We are involving more women in every field. That, for example, we created this cultural committee. We have 3 members boys, 3 members of girls. The students were not used to do group works. We wanted to achieve that. First, we wanted to show to the students that this is your faculty, this is your classes, this is your corridor. You have to keep it clean. You have to keep it the way you wanted to keep it.
Could the Taliban regain power and destroy everything again? Mazar-e-Sharif and its 300,000 residents seem to be doing all right. Buildings are going up. The city feels relatively safe. You can sense how near it is to other countries such as Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan and Tajikistan. Nowadays, Balkh is considered a model province, thanks to a former warlord turned businessman. Once a week, there's a direct flight from Mazar-e-Sharif to Herat, Peroz's next destination. The weather in Herat is cool and rainy. Peroz wasn't expecting that. There's Bollywood music to ease the boredom, with Iran not far away. Herat comes across as clean and tidy, almost German. Our driver, Jahed, was a student under Peroz. He lives in the center of town and has everything prepared.
Yes, they were all my students. I've trained so many people in Kabul, in Herat, not just in Germany. They're my children, in one big family. More than 2,000?
Herat is growing too. Its population is estimated at over 1 million, though there are no precise figures. But the city is considered relatively safe. It's located strategically on an old trade route between Iran and Turkmenistan. The Taliban never got a foothold here. The city is proud of its 3,000-year-old history and culture. At the center of it all is the Friday Mosque. It's a grey November day in Herat. The hotel, like any establishment catering for foreigners in Afghanistan, is a high-security complex. It's more of a deterrent than an actual protection. Fear is all-pervasive here. People have a constant sense of being under threat. Peroz also has a driver he can trust in Herat. A random taxi would be too risky. It's not uncommon for well-heeled Afghans or foreigners to be kidnapped.
Dr. Peroz, someone from my family is studying computer science. Can you arrange a scholarship?
What semester is he in?
Second or third.
Oh, then he'll have to manage on his own. This is the university campus, the new campus. It's a big one.
Herat has more than 12,000 students. 40% of them are women. The president of Herat University is cautiously optimistic about the situation in his country.
In recent years, a lot of businessmen have left the country. But we, the academics and teachers at the universities, believe security will be better in 2014. That's because our military has got better training and equipment.
But he's not 100% sure. The president says the country still needs the security agreement with the US.
You are the future of this country. If you try your best, the country will have a bright future.
It's almost like a mantra. The key to the future of Afghanistan is in the hands of its young people. And indeed, 60% of the population is under 30. And they need an education. Not far from the campus is the War Museum. On the way, we passed the US Consulate, a former hotel which suffered an attack in September 2013. Buildings belonging to the university were also damaged. The Jihad Museum is a memorial to the Mujahideen who fought against the Soviet occupation, built by the most important Mujahideen of all, Ismail Khan. He was commander of the resistance to the Soviets, who occupied the country from 1979 to 1989.
I think it's a good thing if Afghan society learns the lessons of war. War achieves nothing but destruction.
The museum displays the hardware of war, from anti-tank mines to mortar rounds and artillery shells. It also celebrates the country's culture. This is the Tunnel of the Martyrs. Its walls are adorned with portraits of fallen Afghan comrades. On the way upstairs, we meet Ismail Khan himself, with raised forefinger. The former commander of the Mujahideen is now a minister in Hamid Karzai's government.
This 360-degree diorama portrays the Mujahideen's guerrilla war against the Soviet Union.
The war and the conflict leading up to it were devastating. In 1979, Soviet planes bombarded Herat, killing an estimated 24,000 people in the space of a few days. What the museum doesn't document is the civil war that followed and the Taliban invasion in 1994. And today?
The war is over. There is no war, definitely. But what you see in the media and in the TVs and that are broadcasted, it's like the day-to-day crimes that a bunch of criminals, I would call, are conducting against the humanity and against the people, against the government and all those.
Back to the Faculty of Computer Science. In 2004, when Peroz first came to Herat, IT was an alien term. He and his team moved into an apartment, set up some old PCs, and students from Germany began giving lessons. It was groundbreaking work. Hamid Mohmand is just 27, but he's already a dean and a role model.
None of us left the country. We are working day and night because we all believe that we have to give back, and we earned something, and it's time that we should give back. And what I always say and I always believe is that if we want to change the situation in Afghanistan and if we want to do something for the better of the country, we have to give sacrifices. Now, if we don't work, of course, we are going back to the same barbaric problems that we had in the past, and nothing will change.
It'll be a rocky road, especially for women. Fazi Naziri sees the campus as a safe haven for women.
Faculty is the best environment for women in Afghanistan. But sometimes outside of the faculty, even with our students, sometimes we have problems. Unfortunately, it's a family problem. In the family, they are saying, you're a girl, don't do this, don't do that. But boys, they are free. They can do everything, no problem. There is no limitation for boys in families. That's why girls are very shy and they are afraid. Maybe my father and mother watch me in TV, then maybe beaten by family. Why? You are in TV. Why this and that? That's why boys are very brave in Afghanistan. They can do everything. But girls are very shy. Me, when I'm going outside of the faculty, I'm shy. I'm afraid of the boys. Maybe they do something with me because I know I'm not secure because I'm a woman. My dream is that one day, I don't know it will be possible, that we have all educated people and we freely move to the city and the way we thinking change. Like we don't be dark mind, be open-minded people. I dream that. Peace Afghanistan.
Yeah, hello? بله سلام علیکم. مصدق جان سلام علیکم. صحت شما خوب است؟
Fazi Naziri says 100 years could pass before her dream comes true. But she says she wants to stay and fight for it. This nondescript-looking place is also a model project, the PC workshop. Here, PCs are repaired or put together from old parts.
I deliberately launched this PC workshop as part of my project. With the right management, Afghanistan could become a leading recycling country in Central Asia.
Peroz always thinks big. He reckons the country could achieve 30% of its annual economic output that way.
So tell me, what do young Afghan students dream of?
Having a modern Afghanistan fully equipped with computers, and for sure needs computer experts.
The communists and the Mujahideen were here, and if NATO hadn't got involved, they'd still all be fighting each other. In the last 10 years, Karzai has succeeded in uniting the country and bringing the nation together.
Not everybody sees it that way. Critics say Karzai hasn't done enough to unite the country. Many young people fear he will isolate Afghanistan from the West. Meanwhile, the country is littered with concrete walls and security barriers. Kabul, the last day of the trip. We meet Nathalie Sharifzadeh, who runs the office of the German Academic Exchange Service, DAAD. The DAAD awards scholarships to young Afghans. Its office is in the Ministry of Higher Education, just a few minutes' walk from the guest house, where she also lives. Sharifzadeh doesn't have to set foot on the open streets of Kabul.
This country is only 12 years old. We should not forget that. Despite all the effort we've made, 12 years is not a very long time to build a state, especially the kind of state we would like. And the structures are so interwoven and complicated that we need someone like Mr. Peroz. He cuts through the red tape like a hot knife through butter, thanks to his personality and his commitment, by demanding what he does and working like he does. I think visionary people are often like that, and I think this country needs visions, definitely.
The Loya Jirga has voted to ask Hamid Karzai to sign the security pact with the US. But Karzai hasn't put pen to paper yet, and 2014 promises to be another crucial year in Afghanistan's development. The country's young people want to be given a chance. Will they get it? Peroz has an answer to that. His plans already reach as far as 2024.
If you drive via Koti Sangji Square, I could show you where my parents' house once was.
It's the end of a long trip, and reason enough for Nazir Peroz to take a wistful look into the past.
My school was in Koti Sangji, and I used to walk down this street on my way to and from school. This is where I spent my youth. There were only 2 or 3 cars a day, otherwise the street was deserted. And in a similar condition to now. Today, driving in Kabul is like driving bumper cars. And this bridge is new too. Look, this is where I was born. The house I grew up in was here. And on the left were fields. The city's changed almost completely, except the state of the road. It's the same as it ever was.